Oh, oh man. I'm tired. Coffee first. I'm good. I'm good. I just needed that extra juice. What's up, guys? Fears, audience, Fears. Let me get some good sound going, because it sounds a lot better when I wear my headphones. Oh, hang on. There we go. Okay. Oh, hang on. Is it on? It is on. All right. Oh, hang on. There we go. All right. Yo. There we go. All right. So what's up, guys? Welcome to the Fears Podcast. I'm your host with the most, Fears. And let's open up that chat, shall we? Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys are doing bloody fantastic. Oh, by the way, everyone's been loving my profile picture that I put on the streams. The one of Red Fears going like that, or however it looks. So I will continue to use it. Anyway. Oh, let me turn up this volume. There we are. Thank you for the like. I really appreciate that. Thanks for the like. We got 4 people watching. I got the live chat going. Now I got a second like. I appreciate that. I got to say, you guys are awesome. You guys are bloody fantastic. And I truly mean that. Every time I start a show, like I'd say for the last 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, the likes have been coming in faster. I think the most likes ever that I've ever gotten on a stream. I think it's been 10 or 11. And we almost beat that a few days ago. I mean, it got up to 7, 8 likes, and I was like, are we going to break 10? So let's try to break 10 today. Let's try to break 10. So I appreciate all the likes, the comments, the views, everything. So, as you saw from the title, we got a lot to talk about. I thought I almost got robbed. I didn't get robbed, but I thought I got robbed when I came back from my trip. It's a hilarious story, and I will tell you. Then I want to tell you, it was my first day back to work last night, and it went great. No problems. And even my boss let me go home early. So that's nice. She goes, yeah, we got enough people, John. She goes, you can bug out if you want. And I was like, sweet. So she's like, how's it feel to be back to work? I'm like, it feels great. It feels awesome. And she goes, well, I missed you. And I said, well, I missed all of you guys. But I'll get into that story. And then before work, I watched Creepshow. Woo! Good. So we're going to get into this review too. So yeah. Big shout out to everybody in the Chiz app. We got 4 people watching. I need my coffee. Fears did get 8 hours. But I think I got more than 8 hours because, if you sleep more than 8 hours, then you're tired. Well, I'm tired. And Fears went to bed around 8 or 9. And I woke up around 1 something. So I've been up only for about 3 hours. So there it is. So, yeah. So I'm just a tad bit tired. I don't know why. Probably because I got more than 8 hours, like I was saying. Anyway, I'm going to tell everybody in the Discord that I'm streaming. And apparently I did it in the wrong area last time, and I got a lot of flack. So I got to do it in the right way. I'm still learning how to use a Discord, and again, it's not my Discord. Uh, okay, so I don't know where you put it under. I guess self promos. I guess would be the best place to put it. Hopefully that's the right area. Give me 1 second. All right, give me 1 second here. All right, now they can't bitch and complain, and it's always the same idiots that bitch and complain. I'm not gonna mention any names because if I do, all hell will break loose. All right, there we go. So I put it in the Discord that I'm streaming, and let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna let Visions know that I'm streaming, and then we'll get back to the stream. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, things have been really good today, guys. Things have been really good. Just gonna start out my day. Yo, Visions, I am streaming, so come and hang out if you can, buddy. If you can, buddy. I understand if you are working. Let me knows. All right. Because I always say that. I'm like, because, sometimes Visions can't make it. Sometimes he can't make it, because, he's working or something. But anyway, big shout out to everyone. Thank you for the 2 likes. Things are going well. Things are going great. I just thought I would do a little stream. Unfortunately, guys, time for some updates. I did not edit anything last night. After dinner I took a shower and I was so tired. I was so tired. I had some dinner and I basically conked out after dinner. And then when I woke up, there was like 3 hours before I had to go into work, so I quickly watched this. Then went into work. So I apologize for not editing anything tonight and uploading a video. I'm going to try to upload a video tonight. I really am going to try to upload a video. Anyway, so there's that. I called my mom. My mom's doing all right. She's doing okay. And she said, "You made it back safe." I said, "Yep." I said, "I made it back safe." And I said, "Mom, the only thing that went wrong was basically the all the delays and then the cancellation of my flight, and then they rebooked my flight and then they canceled it again and then rebooked it again, and then it was like 3 delays, and then I had to sit on the tarmac for an hour, and it was just crazy." But I said, "Mom, once all that crap got through, then everything was fine," and I got back home. I said, "I just got back home late." So I was like, it was insane. It was utterly insane. But besides that, the rest of the trip was absolutely fantastic. It was fantastic. It was so good to see my dad. Me and my dad had a heart to heart, and you guys are gonna. I don't know if I'll put all of the heart to heart. I did film the heart to heart to my dad, but I may just put a little bit of it in the blog. But because a lot of it was very hard to say because it was emotional, and I missed my dad like crazy, but I just gotta stay busy. I just gotta stay busy, and my dad wouldn't want me to be sad, or my mom, or my brother, but it's hard. It's hard, and then you know, so that was the first time I went back to go visit my dad, since the funeral. But I'm really glad I went. I went twice. It was really good. My mom and me got some flowers, and you know what? My mom came both times. I just said, "Hey, Mom, do you mind if I film some stuff for Dad's tribute video?" And so one of those times she said, "Oh yeah." She goes, "I don't want to be in the video, but she goes, I'll wait in the car and you can film whatever you want to film." So I decided to let my mom come both times. So whenever my mom was waiting in the car, then I had a private moment with my dad, and I said some nice things. So that was a highlight. And then definitely my cousin's wedding. My cousin's wedding was a big highlight. Definitely hanging out with Eric, my buddy. I was that close. He was contemplating letting me film the, his nerd cave. I said, Eric, I said, the fans want to see it. I said, and then he's like, well, Fears, he's like, you know how private I am. I said, listen, I said, I know you're private, but I said, what about a photo? And he's like, Fears, he's like, I can't do it. And I was like, all right, buddy. I'm like, fair enough. And I always respect my friends. I'm like, if he doesn't want him or his nerd collection on film or a photo, I understand. But I did get a photo with my buddy Eric. It just wasn't in his nerd cave. I think me and him took a photo when we were at the mall or something. Um, Another highlight was going to Emo's Pizza, and you guys have seen that shirt. Another highlight, which I didn't know, it was a very nice surprise, was I just had nothing to do one day. I just Googled fun things to do in the St. Louis area, and I found this place, the Axe House, and I went axe throwing. That was a lot of fun. I got a couple of bullseyes on camera, like dead center. So Sam, whenever you want to go axe throwing again, you let me know, buddy. You let me know. By the way, the chat is open. Feel free to chat away. I mean, I don't know if anyone can chat right now because it is 4:30 in the afternoon. So a lot of people may be at work. So hopefully I'll get someone chatting at some point. But if you guys don't chat, I understand because, it's in the afternoon. People are working. So, yeah. Let's hope. Let's hope. Yo, Visions. Lord Visions, how art is thou? Thouest is good and holy and divine and wonderful and glorious and stupendous in thy own kingdom. God, that was a mouthful. Visions like Fears. Yeah, I get it. You're from England. Yeah, you don't have to go through this whole spiel, Fears. I get it. I'm like, yeah, I know, Visions. Right on. So anyway, but shout out to Lord Visions is here. Anyway, I'm telling you, Visions, that was another highlight. I was telling everybody, Visions, I don't know how long you've been here. I was telling everybody the highlights of the trip. And I called my mom and she asked, hey, did you get home safe? I'm like, I got home safe. But yeah, the highlights of the trip, before I go on. Oh, by the way, hang on, Vision. Before the highlights, Visions. Oh, shit. I watched it last night and oh my God. Oh my God. Has Fears been missing out? I've been missing out. Because I only watched that one scene. I watched everything last night, and boy, was I missing out. Oh, sweet, Visions. Visions says, Fears, I'm going to your favorite place. I'm headed to the BK Lounge. Well, listen, Fears would give his standard, response. I think the better question is why wouldn't you be headed to the BK Lounge, Visions? Now, what are you going to get? Double Whopper, single Whopper, the Angry Whopper. Recently, I tried the Spider-Man Whopper, which was really good. And I got it on video, too. Oh, yeah. So that's going in a vlog. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so the highlights were definitely hanging out with my friend, Eric, going to Emo's Pizza, not once, but twice, visiting my dad twice, the wedding. You know what? I didn't make it to my buddy Dave's comic book store. I wanted to. We were just so busy with activities that I called Dave and said, Dave, and he's like, oh, really, Fears? You're not going to be able to make it down? I said, I got a wedding to go to, buddy. I said, I'm hanging out with family. I said, my friends are throwing me an ultimate bowling guys night party. So I said, I'm going to do that. So I said, there's just not enough hours in the day. But I said, maybe next year, So yeah. So another big highlight was the ultimate bowling guys night. So I'm like, that was good. Another highlight was, of course, spending the 4th of July with my mom and my brother. Got to see my brother. I got to see my brother's wife, which me and her, we're really good friends. She's a really nice girl. My brother did pick a really nice girl to marry. So yeah. Vision said, I got a single Whopper and some chicken nuggies. Oh, nice. Nice! There you are. You know what? I haven't had the chicken nuggies in like forever, Visions. So enjoy that. But I love me some Whoppers. So cheers to that. And I hate to do this to you guys. Fears is hilarious, and I should have went to the bathroom before I started the show. I need to go to the bathroom real quick, but you just study the fucking Creepshow guy, and I'll be right back. Just study this fucking hilarious guy. He's got one fucking eyeball. Where the hell is his other eyeball? His eyeball fucking popped out of his skull. What the hell? Where is the other eyeball? I don't know where it is. Maybe the other eyeball is in Vision's Whopper. You never know. You never know. It could be. You know? Anyway, just study this, and I'll be right back. Just study his eyeball, or his lack of eyeballs. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I'm back. I'm back. My bad. I had to take a PO. Alright. Well, Visions, you enjoy those chicken nuggies and a Whopper. Because when I come to see you, we may have to take... we may have to take at least one trip to BK Lounge. Shh. Maybe 2 trips to the BK Lounge. Maybe 3. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, so those were all the highlights of the trip. And you know what? This right here, the Axe House, that was a big surprise. I almost didn't do it. So it's getting towards the end of the trip. One day I had nothing to do. I'm just sitting around. I'm watching movies on YouTube, and I edited for a little while. Nothing's going on, and I'm getting kind of bored. So I finished editing what I was editing, which was a little bit more of the Titanic vlog. So we're almost there. Put that away, and I thought, I'm just going to Google fun things to do in the area. So I wrote in fun things to do in the St. Louis area. Bam! The next town over from Wentzville had this. And I go there, and he said, well, we're usually only open on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I said, it says open on the week. He goes, well, technically we are open on the weekdays. He goes, but I barely get any business during the week. He goes, unless it's like private parties or like a business rents out this place. He goes, so I have a lot of like private events during the week. He goes, and then it's a free-for-all on the weekend, and it's mad chaos. And I said, it says open. And he went, you know what? He goes, I've only had a family come in for a birthday party. So he's like, as soon as they leave, you can come in, and then he said you can have the whole place to yourself. I went, really? And he goes, yeah. And so I called ahead because I had never been to this place. I said, oh, what time do they leave? I said, what time does that birthday party leave? He goes, around 2:30. I'm like, well, how about I come in like at 3 or 4? And he's like, yeah. He's like, no one will be here. He goes, because my next event is until 9 o'clock at night. I'll be out of there by then. And I told him, I said, I'm a YouTuber. I said, is it okay if I just bring my vlogging camera? I said, I'd love to get some footage of me throwing axes for my vlog. And he went, oh yeah. He's like, take as many photos as you want. He's like, go nuts. He's like, you can throw axes until the sun goes down, film whatever you want. And I went, oh, sweet. So I go. And not only did I throw with like the normal size axes, a normal size like hatchet axe is about that long. He had fuckers, I kid you not, guys. He had fuckers like, oh, hang on, I went the wrong way. Like that fucking long. So I had to throw it like this, and I had to run. I had to basically take like 3 or 4 steps, run, and then just go nunk and throw it over my head, and it went and then land. So I've never thrown like one of those huge fucking axes. I mean, these fuckers were huge. I apologize for my cursing, but they were massive. And he goes, oh, you should totally throw some of the larger axes. And he goes, in the professional leagues, they throw 2 types of axes. And I said, oh, do you have the professional ones? Not only did he have a professional, like small axe that they throw in the big time leagues, because there's professionals that do it. And I was like, oh, sweet. He goes, but then there's this long ass one. He's like, so there's two leagues. He goes, there's the long ass ones, and then there's the short ones that you threw with your buddy in Orlando. And I went, yeah. I said, me and my buddy threw some in Orlando. I said, that's the first time. He goes, you're really good for only doing it 2 times. I said, that's what my friend Sam said. I said, I went. And I said, I guess it just came naturally. He goes, yeah. He goes, you're hitting 4s, 5s, 6s, the bullseyes, like almost every single time. And you know what? When in Missouri, when I did it, that was the first time that I had some axes bounce off. I only had a couple bounces off because I didn't throw it right because it had been a while. But once I got back into the groove, I was hitting bullseyes here. I was hitting bullseyes there. I was hitting 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s. It was good. Oh, yeah. So when you guys see it, you guys will know what I'm talking about. But, man, to throw that long-ass fucker, one, it was hard because the axe was so heavy, those large axes. Up until that point, I'd only thrown those like small like hatchets or whatever. Vision says, you know what, Fears? You're a natural killer. Fuck yeah, Visions. Picture me being like a short Michael Myers or a short Jason Voorhees. If I was in those movies, fucking Quentin, Joey, all those other idiots would never have a chance. That's right. But you know what? I'm a Christian. I don't kill people. I'm a Christian. I've been trying to turn the other cheek, you know? We can't help it that Joey and Quentin are fucking idiots and so goddamn annoying. That's just who they are. That's just who they are. So I try to ignore all their stupid bullshit. So yeah, as much as I can. Sometimes it really irks me, and I know you. Visions has even told me to turn the other cheek. Other people have told me to turn the other cheek. Most of the time I do, but other times they'll say one thing, and I'm like, oh, you fucking bitch. And then we see the other side of Fears come out, and I'm just like, all right. I'm like, you want to start some shit? I'm like, oh, I'll give you some shit. I'm like, let's fucking do it. But I try not to. Anyway, I'm having a great day. I hope you guys are having a great day too. So those are the highlights. My mom called the other day, and she goes, did you get back all right? I said, I got back all right. I said, Mom, it was just a pain in the ass to get from the St. Louis airport to the Orlando airport. And she went, why? What's going on? I said, Mom, my mom had to drop me off, Visions, and my mom had to go to a funeral. One of her friends died. So I'm sorry to my mom's friend's family. Sorry for your loss. So I had to quickly give my mom a hug and a kiss, and my brother came. I gave him a hug and was like, I'll call you guys once I land. I said, Mom, don't be late to that funeral. I'll see you. I said, later. I said, I love you. I said, I love you, Mom. She was out of there. I get there, and it was a world of shit. I told Visions and I told Pixel and some other people yesterday a little bit about this, but I'll go more in depth. I get there, and from the start, as soon as I get in the building, it was a world of shit. Oh, it's delayed. Then it's delayed again. Then it's delayed 3 times. Then they canceled the flight, and I almost had to call my mom. Then they rebooked the flight. Then then it's delayed again. Then it's canceled again, and then they finally rebooked it again. And I'm just like, oh, holy hell. It was a world of shit. Then once we loaded the plane, the pilot, the pilot comes on. Oh, sorry, folks. There's a bunch of like planes in front of us. We're gonna have to sit on the tarmac for an hour. Yada yada yada. And I'm like, oh god, I'm never gonna get home. By the time I got home, after like the 3rd or 4th delay, I was exhausted. That was around like 7 or 8 or whenever it was. I think we took off right at like 6:50, 7 o'clock, some shit like that. I honestly can't remember. It was around there. I was like, I'm not getting to work. You know, that was not last night, the night before. I was supposed to get home Monday, right? So I just texted my boss. I'm like, look, they're canceling my flights. They're rebooking me. They're delaying. We're sitting on the tarmac for an hour. You know, bada bing, bada boom, all this. And I'm exhausted. I said, I'm not coming in. But anyway, I got home, the other day. Everything's fine. I got some sleep. Went into work yesterday, and everyone was so happy to see me. I'm going to get into that in a minute. I'm just doing all the updates. Jeff wrote me and said, Fears, my my nerd cave is almost ready for you to like film and take a tour through and interview me. I was like, Jeff, I thought you'd be done by then. He goes, well, you've been gone for 10 days, Fears. He goes, we had 2 shows while you were gone. I said, that's right. I said, how did those 2 shows go? And he went, oh, Fears. He's like, you missed 2 doozies. And I'm like, were they that good? He went, oh, Fears. He goes, they were going nuts. I said, oh, yeah. I said, how many people? He goes, oh, the first show, he goes, we had like 20,000 people show up. I was like, really? And he goes, oh, yeah. He goes, the second one. He goes, the second one did pretty good. We only had like 10, 15,000. I said, Jeff, I said, that's still a shitload of people, 10 to 15,000. He goes, oh, yeah, Fears. I'm not saying. He goes, just the first show did a lot better. And I was like, oh, okay, right on. So both shows were good. And he went, oh, Fears. He goes, the gems. He goes, you missed out on some gems, man. He goes, I know you love. He goes, Fears, there was this one booth that had a stack. Kid you not, Visions. Jeff said a stack of Blu-rays from the floor to the fucking goddamn ceiling. And I was like, really? And he went, oh, Fears. He goes, and there was tons. He goes, the Driller Killer was in there. And he goes, Dead End Drive-In. I was like, oh, well, I already have that one. He goes, the Drive-In Massacre was there. And I was like, oh, Lord. So apparently I missed 2 hell of a shows. And I said, I'm back. And the next show I'm going to, that's why I have this very close. It would help if I turned it around so I could read it. The next show, August 12th and 13th, that's a maybe. I may go to that one. I haven't decided because I don't want to take a day off of work. So if I do go, it'll be maybe just one day. And plus 2-day cons, that's a lot. Especially Jeff's, because Jeff's are long shows. Long. Like the Toy Man show that I went to, that's not bad. That's only like 9 to 2. Jeff's shows go on from like 9 to like 6, or like 9 to 7 in the morning. So 9 in the morning to like 6 or 7 at night. So to do 2 days of that would take up my whole weekend. I may just go one day. The one I'm for sure going to is September 9th, the Star Wars con. Now, the Star Wars cons, those are always good. Those are, and I find a lot of gems there. Lots. Last Star Wars convention, I got a movie prop, Han Solo's dice, and I got another Kyber crystal. So not one prop, but 2 props. And then let's see, the next one, Gatorville Collectors Fest. I'm sorry, Gatorville Collector Toy Fest is October 1st. I've never been to one of those, and I think I'm going to go to that one because Jeff's like, Fears, you never go to that one. I was like, yeah, but I said, I see enough gators in Florida. He goes, Fears, it has nothing to do with gators. So this whole time I thought it was something. I thought it was like toys and gators. I'm like, well, you never told me, Jeff. He's like, yeah. He's like, you should come. So I may check that one out. Vision said, I remember when Blu-rays started getting popular, my dad would always be like, who the hell is this Ray guy? Wow. But you know what, Visions? That just shows how much your dad had a good sense of humor. He's like, who's this Ray fucking guy? And where can I get these Blu-rays from fucking Ray? So, Visions, I kid you not, and I'm not just saying this because we're friends. I truly believe this. I think your dad and my dad would get along. I will say this. My dad was a little bit more, it seems like your dad was like really goofy, and he didn't take things seriously, as that joke you just did, Visions. My dad was both. My dad was serious at times, but then as soon as he cracked a joke, he was kind of like me. I'm more happy-go-lucky. I only have to be serious when I absolutely have to be. Like at work, I'm all business. I mean, every once in a while at work, I'll crack a joke here and there. But when I'm at work, I'm like, all right, I want to get this job done. I want to do the job right so I can get promoted one day. And let's not beat around the bush. We got 8 hours. Let's knock this out of the park. And the quicker we get this done, the quicker Fears can go home and take a nap and watch some Yummy Dillion. That's right. Yeah, I'm not ashamed to say it. Yummy Dillion all the way. All right. Yo, Yakov, what's going on? Oh, Visions, I forgot to tell you. While I was there, I looked and I hunted and I hunted. It was on the list. Your dad's favorite movie was on the list, and I couldn't find it. I could not find it. I asked. I went to Spencer's. Because now Spencer's, I had no idea about this. Spencer's now sells movies. And I was like, oh, that's weird. So, or at least the Spencers did in Missouri. So I went to Spencer's. I went to Hot Topic. I went to, because now Hot Topic sells movies too. I went to my favorite store, Slackers. They've always sold movies. I went to V Stock. I went to Best Buy. I could not find your dad's uh, favorite movie, and I've got the list right here. Because as soon as I was done in Missouri, I thought, oh, well, I'm bringing the list home. So I need to take a pen and actually mark some off because I do have some off the list. The ones that I got off the list, I got I got Night of the Creeps, so that's off the list, and I got Dark Man 1, 2, and 3 on DVD, so I can get that off the list. I got Soylent Green off the list, and what was the other one? What was the other one I got? Oh, I got Creepshow off the list. So, but now I'm looking for Creepshow 2 because Creepshow 1 was spectacular. All right. You know what? I don't think. Hang on. Did I put your dad's on the list? Let's see. Vision Quest, No Holds Barred, The Lawnmower 1 and 2, Surf Nazis Must Die. Oh, I asked at V Stock. He goes, Fears. What the hell is Surf Nazis Must Die? I'm like, you've never heard of it? He goes, Fears. If I've never heard of it, he goes, I know for a fact we don't sell it. And I was like, oh, shit. I'm like, that must be super vintage. He's like, yeah, Fears. He goes, that seems like a crappy, shitty 80s, like, comedy slash horror movie. I'm like, that's what it is. And he's like, yeah, Fears. He goes, I know for a fact we don't have that. And he goes, man, he goes, you love those old gems. I said, well, I haven't seen some of these old gems. I said, my buddies tell me about them. I watch them, and then I lose my mind and laugh, and then it's on to the next fucking gem. So, yeah. See, did I put your dad's favorite one on here? Oh, Lord, I'm going to feel real bad if I didn't put it on here. Well, I could take a pen, Visions, and write it on. Let's see. Christmas, Bloody Christmas, the Car, Night of the Comet, New York Ninja, Creepshow 1 and 2, The Hills Have Eyes 1 and 2, Psycho Gorman, The Lighthouse, Night of the Creeps, Chud 2, Basket Case 1, 2, and 3, Class of 1984, Class of 1999, Class of 1999 Part 2, Toxic Avenger 2, 2, 3, and 4, Darkman 1, 2, and 3, Surf 2, Surf Nazis Must Die, The Lawnmower Man 1 and 2, No Holds Bar, Vision Quest. My bad, buddy. Let me get a pen. I forgot to write that down. But I remembered. I remembered what it was, Visions, and I asked. But I could have sworn I had it on the list. Let me write it. Let me go get a pen and I'll write it down. So what's up, Yakov? What's up, Lord Visions? What's up, everybody? Yeah, my bad, Visions. I thought, and I know you like it too, but I know you said it's your dad's favorite movie. I don't know if it's Vision's favorite movie, but I know you said your dad, like, fucking loved that movie. And I watched the trailer and I'm like, man, your dad had really good taste. I'm like, I understand why he liked it. I'm like, the trailer is fucking awesome. And I'm not just saying that because I'm friends with Vision. I'm saying it because it's true. I'm like, all right, yeah, cool, Vision. I'm like, I'll check out your dad's favorite movie. I watched the trailer. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I've got to see this movie. Plus, it's got great actors in it. I was like, oh, I'm like, I'm sold. I'm like, I've got to see this. All right, so let me write it down. All right, so let's see. It's the plus it's got a kick-ass knife in it. Oh my lord. And let me just go to Google real quick. Give me 1 second. Because I'm trying to find the actor in it. So let me go to movie posters and write it in. Oh, yeah, so it's got Tommy Lee Wallace, and it's got that other guy in it. What's his name? The Hunted. Ooh, and it is on Blu-ray. Okay, that's good. Because that was my next question to Visions. I just found a picture, and it's on Amazon. Okay, so... And on Amazon, it's only $12.99. Oh, that's pretty good. $12.99, Amazon? Nice. You're right, Vision. Sometimes I buy them solely off of like like their website or solely off of like eBay. I try to use all of them. If I can't find it on eBay, I go to Etsy. If I can't find it on Etsy, I'll go to like Amazon. Sometimes it's even cheaper. Like you go to eBay and it says like $21.99 or some shit, right? You go to Amazon, bada bing, bada boom, it's like $12.99. Well, it would probably be 13 or 14 with with tax and like shipping and all that. So, all right. So I'm gonna put The Hunted and then Tommy Lee Wallace. Tommy Lee. Plus, I mean, that guy's been. I mean, dude, that guy was in the fucking Fugitive, and the Fugitive was amazing. Oh man, amazing. All right, I got it. I put The Hunted, Tommy Lee Wallace. So I got it, Visions. And as soon as I wrote up The Hunted, not only did it bring up the Blu-ray and like pictures from the movie Visions, but the knife showed up right away, and it looks like it's a throwing knife because it's got like a sharp blade and then like a massive handle on it, right? So it seems like you throw it like that, or you can chuck it like that. So that's how I'm thinking you use that knife. I could be totally wrong, but I think that knife must go into Fears' collection. I've only got two movie prop knives. I got the MacGyver knife, and I got the knife from the first Mortal Kombat movie. The second Mortal Kombat movie, it's all right. It's not as good as the first Mortal Kombat movie by any stretch of the imagination. But Fears bought it, so we'll see how it is when I watch it. It's more funny. It was more of a funny purchase. Like, oh god, I'm gonna have to have this garbage in the collection. Anyway, anyway. Let's see. Um, Vision says, I like it. I watched it at least once a year. Oh, see, there you go, Visions. And you know what? You probably do that for two reasons. One, you like the movie, and two, you want to honor your dad. So that's very, I respect that, and I commend you for that. And that's cool. And it's always fun. It's always cool to have those, what's the word? Those memories between you and your loved one that passed away. Like that's a good memory that Visions and his dad shared. Me and my dad's movies that we like to share together, fucking Terminator, RoboCop, fucking Star Trek: The Next Generation, motherfuckers. Oh yeah, the original Star Trek. My dad loved Star Trek, not as much as me. I mean, I fucking love Star Trek. You know this, Yakov. You know this. You know this. You know this. You know this. But my dad did like it. So yeah. So that's cool, Visions. That's cool that your dad and you have that. That's cool. That's awesome. And you know, Fears could wait and watch it with you whenever I come to visit you next year. But you know what? I want to get that as soon as possible because I'm telling you, man, when I saw that trailer, I was like, oh shit, this looks so good. So yeah. Anyway, Vision says, "Oh yeah, The Fugitive was badass. Haven't seen that in years. Oh yeah, it's right over there. And you know what? I haven't seen it in a while, but sadly, I only have it on DVD. I haven't got it on Blu-ray. The key word is yet. The key word is yet. When I find it for $1 or two, at Goodwill, that's when I'll be adding it to the collection. Anyway, so let's see, is there any more updates before I actually start the stream? Because I've just been kind of bullshitting with you guys and telling you guys all the updates. So Jeff's really excited to have me back, and he's like, Fears, I cannot wait to see you, man. He goes, you haven't been to a con like in a month or two. I was like, yeah, I said, because the last con I went to was about a month and a half ago. I said, then I had to skip the next two shows, because of my trip. I said, and then I got to get back to work. And he's like, oh, yeah, the next one's in August. And I was like, yeah. I'm like, that one's a maybe. I'm like, we'll see. I'm like, I went to that one of those a few years ago, and I said, I didn't like the August one. And he's like, really? I said, I'd rather just wait till the Star Wars one. But I said, maybe, buddy. I said, he's like, you're coming to the Star Wars one for sure, right? I said, yeah. I said, that one I'm coming for sure. I said, I'm just not sure about the August one. But I said, I will let you know. So, yeah. All right. So, the topics today are reviewing Creepshow. I finally sat down and watched all of it, and oh my lord, was I missing out. The one, and before I owned this, I only saw the one scene, to tide you over, where the guy puts the guy in the sand and buries him, and the tide basically comes in and kills him. Then the guy crawls out of the ocean, and he's all zombified, and he's got fucking algae everywhere, and seaweed all over him, and he kills the guy that put him in the sand and all that. And I love that scene. That was the only scene I ever saw. So when I finally got it, I was like, all right, I'll sit down. I said, before work, watch it all the way through. Most of it I liked. It's made like a comic book. It just tells you story, and then as soon as that story's done, you see you see the skeleton guy, which is the host of Creepshow. His hand comes out of nowhere and like pulls the next page of the comic, and then he points to the next story, and then you zoom into the comic book, and it goes to the next story. So yeah, so some of the stories, there was one story I did not like. All the other stories were amazing, but there was one story in there that was so goddamn boring. I actually had a napo on the last story, and I had to go back and watch the ending of it because I think it's towards the end. It's the one with all the fucking crickets and the cockroaches. That one was just so boring. All the other ones were amazing. The the cage, the Father's Day one, to tide you over. Uh, where Stephen King finds a meteorite and all this green fungus starts growing on him. All that shit was great. But the cockroach one was just so goddamn boring. So that's the only part of Creepshow I don't like. But I'll get to the review in just a minute. So we're going to review that, and then I'm going to tell you guys what happened when I went to work. And then a funny story happened to me when I got home. I thought I was robbed. So let's start with that one. So when I finally did get in, I put my bags down, and then I look over at my movie props, and some of my movie props were on the floor. And I went, what the fuck? So I walk over, and apparently what happened was, here, let me show you. Let me pull the computer over, and I'll show you. So I don't know how it got knocked over, because when I saw this on the floor, I went all the way around my house to make sure nothing had been taken. Nothing had been taken. I don't know if it was air that pushed it over or what, but every once in a while, this mask will fall over because it's just leaning up against the wall. Apparently, I'm assuming this is what happened. This fell over this way because this and that and that and this was all over the floor, like right there and right there. So this fell over this way and pretty much knocked all this shit off. So at first, though, I'm like, wait a minute. No one's in here. I'm like, how did they get in here? Because this door was locked, and then that door was locked. And I'm like, I'm starting to get pissed off. I'm like, if someone broke into my house. And so I started checking all the windows to see if someone broke any of the windows and came in. Thank God nobody broke any windows. And I went, okay, I'm like, maybe the air condition, whenever the air condition popped on, because they said towards the end of my trip, hey, we're going to turn on the air on a certain day just to air it out so when you get home, it won't be super hot. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm like, okay, yeah, cool, that'll be fine. That'll be fine. So I'm thinking when the air kicked on Visions and Yak Off and everybody else, I'm thinking that when the air kicked on, it just blew that down. And thank God none of the props broke, because that's a long way down off the shelf. I was like, well, it could have broke. But for about 10 seconds, about 10, 20 seconds, I thought I got robbed. And I was like, I don't need this fucking headache. I'm like, really? I'm like, if someone I'm not kidnapped. I said, if someone broke into my house, I'm going to be kicking ass and taking names, So, oh man, I was a bit nervous for about 20 seconds. So there's that. But I kid you not, I was a little scared. Oh, not scared. I was upset for about 20 seconds because I was like, I had a great vacation, everything's going good, and then all of a sudden I get robbed, But thank God I was not robbed, so there's that. Anyway, so there's that. Last night, work was fantastic. So I get to work. Everyone's patting me on the back. Hey, Fears, good to see you. You're back. And I was like, I'm back. And then they were like, well, how was the trip? I was like, the trip was great. I mean, I got to see my dad. I got to hang out with my mom. I said I went to a wedding. I said I went axe throwing. I said I got to hang out with my buddy Eric. I said we went and, did our annual Emo's Pizza twice, one at the beginning of the week, one at the end of the week. I said it was great. I said I can't wait, to go back, I don't know if I'm going to go home in a year because I've got the big Lord Visions trip next year. So I may just focus on that. But if I do go home, maybe I'll go home for like a weekend. Maybe a weekend or two. But next year is the Lord Visions trip. So that's the big trip I want to take. Because I've been looking forward to hanging out with Visions for a whole year. Whole year. So that is happening next year. So yeah. So I told my mom that. My mom was like, "Oh, that's fine." I said I'll try to come. I said, but doing 2 trips in a year, I said that's a lot of money, and I said I'll be taking off a lot of work. I said I'm already going to take off like 4, 5, 6, or as many days as Visions will let me stay. I need to talk to Visions about that. I think we settled on a week, Visions. I don't know. We'll have to work out. I mean, we've got plenty of time. We'll work out the details later. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so there was that. So I get there to work. My boss came up to me. Oh, I'm sorry, my female boss came up to me because I have 3 bosses. The other 2 guy bosses were like, "Hey, Fears, we're glad you're back. We have to go to the other end of the factory. We're super busy. We'll talk to you in a couple of hours, like when you've already started your shift." I went, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "If you guys are busy, I'm like, I'll just talk to you like tomorrow night, which is today." And I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "No worries." I'm like, "If you guys need to do something, I don't want to interrupt." My female boss, she's like, "So how was it? Tell me." And I go in, I tell her, I'm like, "Oh, we did this, we did that." She's like, "How was it going to see your dad?" I'm like, "It was good." I'm like, "It was just emotional." And I said, because that was the first time I had seen my dad since the funeral. So I said some nice words, and she's like, "Did you get some footage like for your tribute thing you're telling me about?" I said, "Oh yeah." I said, "I got every piece of footage that I needed for my tribute video." I said, "I filmed some pictures inside my mom's house of my dad up on the wall. I'm gonna put those in the tribute video." I said I filmed my dad's area where he is in the military cemetery, which is huge, by the way. It's probably one of the biggest military cemeteries, not just in Missouri, in the Midwest, because it's got thousands and thousands and thousands of soldiers in there. I mean, the white tombstones go on forever. It's insane. But anyway, so I told her, I said, all in all, it was a good trip. And she's like, "You ready to get to work?" And I was like, I said, actually, I said, "You got my text, right?" She goes, "Oh, yeah." She goes, I forgot about that. But she goes, "Yeah, I did get your text." I said, "Yeah." I said, "I was supposed to come in yesterday." I said, "But with all the delays and canceling my flight and rebooking my flight, and oh, you got to sit on the tarmac for an hour and yada, 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 and do this and do that." She's like, "Oh, that must have been annoying." I said, "Yeah, to say the least." But we can't help these things. So I just took a deep breath and was like, "All right, this is happening." So I'm like, "Don't get mad, Fears. Just, you just deal with it." So I dealt with it. But I hate all those, I wanted to get home. Because I'm like, "Oh, that's one day of work that I miss of, money and all that." And I'm like, "Oh, well," I'm like, "it is what it is." I'm like, "No need to get mad about it." And she's like, "Well," she's like, "while you were gone," she's like, "we had some busy days and then we had some non-busy days." And I was like, "Oh, yeah?" I'm like, "How many busy days you had?" She's like, "You know how it goes." She's like, "Mondays are always nuts. Tuesdays are always nuts." I was like, "That's true." So she's like, "Yeah, so those days were nuts." She goes, "And the rest of the week was pretty easy." And I was like, "Okay, well, that's good." I'm like, "Not too bad." And she's like, "What about your week?" I said, "Oh, my week was fantastic." I said I went to a wedding, and so I told her everything that I did, and she's like, "Well, I'm gonna put you on your normal trucks like you always do." She's like, "I may move you," she goes, "and have you train some new guy." So I trained some new guy today. So it was half and half. I did my trucks, and then towards like the end of the night, she said, "Fears, I'm gonna let this guy take over for your truck so you don't get behind while you teach this new guy." Because when you teach somebody, you have to, like basically spoon feed them. And this kid was like really young. I guarantee it was probably his first job. He was real thin, even shorter than me, and I asked him. I said, "Hey, how old are you?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm 18, about to be 19." I went, "Okay." I'm like, "Cool, cool." And I'm like, "First job?" And he said, "Oh yeah." He goes, "I'm a little nervous." I said, "Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous." I said, "We'll just take it one step at a time." I said, "This place is really easy." I said, "Once you get into a routine." Once you get into a routine, it's very repetitive. And I said, I was nervous too. I said, I've never worked in a factory before. But I said, once you get into like a rhythm, I said, then you'll be fine. So I said, it's this easy. I said, you have the truck behind you. I said, this is the number on the truck. So I said, you have to memorize the number on the truck. I said, the packages come down the belt. And so I basically showed him. So I said, if this is a package, you wait till it comes down, you grab it, you have the scanner attached to your wrist, and then you have the clicker. So I said, you take the clicker, you scan the box, the number will come on your little wristwatch. You push the button to have it checked in. When you hear the doot 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 doot, that means it's checked in. Then you take the box and you look what number's on the box and you load it into the right certain area of the truck. And then you just jump back and forth. So I said, I'm going to scan for you. And I said, you'll put it in the right area. So for a while, I scanned and I said, where does it go? And then he put it in the truck. And then I said, all right, now we're going to switch. I said, I'll load for you and you scan. So he got experience on both things. And he did pretty well. He only messed up 4 times where I had to say, oh, that's in the wrong one. You got to put it over here. And he's like, oh, sorry. I'm like, don't be sorry. We all make mistakes. No worries. I'm like, you're doing actually really good. I was very impressed. I said, I made more mistakes than you when I first started off. He goes, oh, yeah. He goes, how many things did you get wrong? I said, more than you. I said, let's put it that. I said, I put things in the wrong spot like around 10 to 15 times my first day. I said, once I got going, you couldn't stop Fears. I was getting into a rhythm. So I said, it took me about 10 times to figure it out. I said, you figured it out after about 4 or 5 times of messing up. So I said, that's not too bad at all. And I said, you did great for your first day. And then I said, do you think you can do it on your own now? I said, because my boss wants me to get back to my trucks. And she came by and she goes, how are you guys doing? I said, he's learning really well. He's learning really well. And then he looked at me and said, you're a really good teacher. I said, oh, well, thanks. I appreciate that. And I said, we all got to start somewhere. And then she said, well, I'm gonna take John away from you. I'm going to let him get back to his trucks. And she goes, I'll come and check on you. She goes, if you have any problems, grab John or grab me. And as far as I know, he did good. So then she's like, all right, John. She goes, I'm going to take that guy that was covering your trucks away. He goes, he's already scanned all your boxes like while you were training that kid. I went, oh, great. I'm like, so I'm not behind? He goes, nope. She goes, you're not behind. She's like, just get back on. I went, all right, later. So I got back on. Bada bing, bada boom. And I normally when we have a busy day, because yesterday or last night was a busy day. I thought, oh, cool. I'm like, I'll come in. It'll be like a chill day, like 38,000. 37,000, like a very chill day. And she's like, I wish, John. And I was like, oh, really? I'm like, oh, Lord. I'm like, what does that mean? She goes, we've got 46,000 tonight. And I was like, no! I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, it's going to be a busy day. And then she's like, yeah. She goes, I kind of wanted it to be like an easy day for you to like kind of ease back into it. I said, no. I said, I'm fine. I know how it is. I said, we've got our easy days and we've got our hard days, right? She's like, oh, yeah. She's like, today's going to be crazy. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm like 46,000. I'm like, that's going to be a pretty crazy day. That's why I was surprised that she pulled me off the truck, because normally when it's a busy day, she's like, just get it done as quickly as you can, John. But she said, I'll probably be able to have you train that guy because she goes, we have enough people today. So she goes, even though we're busy, it'll go pretty smoothly today, because it sucks when you have to do like anything above 45 and you have a low amount of people, or if like people call in sick, or sometimes people are just lazy and they're like, oh, fuck it, I'm not going into work. Then it gets, so normally we have about 20 people, like, to answer your question, Visions, he said, how many people do you work with? I mean, I work with about 1,000 people in the whole factory, if not more. But in our little area, Visions, every belt, there's about 10 trucks on each side, I believe. So the belts here, there's 10 trucks on this side, 10 trucks on this side. And we have about, on each side, we have about 5 to 6 people on each side. So on a given day, Visions, when everyone is there, like yesterday, everyone showed up to work. So yesterday, we had about 25 people. Yesterday, Visions. But normally, throughout the week, people will get sick or they'll get lazy and tired. Oh, I'm not coming in. My fucking tummy hurts. All that crap. Normally, we have about, on a normal day, anywhere from 10 to 15 people. Normally. And that's like a medium day where we have almost everybody. A bad day when people when people don't show up, it's like when we have like anywhere from 6 to 10. Those days suck because then you have to do multiple trucks. The most trucks I've ever done is 4, and that's hard. That's hard. She's like, oh, Fears, I hate to do this. Because the more people you have, then the less trucks you have to do. Like last night, we had 25 people. So she's like, Fears, it's going to be an easy day for you. You've only got 2 trucks. I'm like, oh, sweet. I'm like, nice. I'm like, even though we're busy, I'll only be a little busy, and I won't I hate getting behind. She's like, yeah. She's like, we've got everyone here. So she's like, I'll put, you the first 2, at the end of the belt, and then, Roger will have the next 2 or 3, and then, Dorothy will have, 416 through 420, and I'm like, yeah, so we have enough people. But whenever we don't have enough people, that's when it sucks. So last night there was about 20 to 25 people, which I was overwhelmed. But that's on a good day, Visions. Like I said, a medium day is like anywhere from when half the people show up, it's like 10 to 15. A bad day is when 6 to 10 people show up, including me, because I almost never miss work. The only time I miss work is for like vacations or if Fears' stomach is in ultra fucking Crohn's mode and I'm on death's doorstep and I'm like, oh, fuck this. I'm puking. I'm shitting. I can't get off the fucking toilet for about a minute. That's when I call in. And that's very far and few between. So there it is. Yo, Yakov, you're back. Larry says, yo, Fears. What's up, Larry? You've almost missed the entire show. What the fuck, man? I'm just joking. I don't care. Or maybe I do care. Are you a real fan, Larry? Are you a real fan, Yakov? You motherfuckers. Showing up late. Unfucking believable. Unbelievable. You almost missed my fucking review, man, of one of the greatest horror movies of all time. You almost missed it. What the fuck? I'm just joking. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you guys are here. You guys know I love the fans. You guys know I care about the fans. I'm just joking around. Fears is in a good mood today. So all in all, work was amazing last night. Plus, we had so many people, Visions. That's why I went home early. So I'm working away, and sometimes we have to do these things called bins. So I'll be doing my trucks, and then I guess they do it for quickness. Down the chute will come this red barrel like bin that's about this wide, about this tall from here off to the ground, and about that wide. You open it up, and there's packages inside it, and then you have to put all the odd ones on this side and all the even ones on this side, and then sometimes there's packages in there for my truck, so I'll have to rummage through. All right, this one's me, this one's me, this one's me. These go over here, but they're not mine. All of these are mine, and I throw them in the truck. So I was doing a bin, and I guess because we had so many people, my boss comes up and she's like, hey, Fears, she's like, if you want to take off a little early, she's like, I've got more than enough people, which rarely happens. Normally I stay there until the job is done. And she's like, she goes, I have enough people. She goes, we're almost done here. We're almost at the end of the day. She goes, I'm going to let you and like 2 other people go home. She goes, only if you want to. She goes, you can stay for the whole thing. And I was like, I am a little tired. And I said, I was kind of tossing and turning last night. So I did get enough sleep last night, but I woke up 3 times. So she's like, yeah, she goes, if you're a little tired, you can go home. And I was like, well, if you have enough people, I said, I'll stay if you want me to. And she's like, no, she's like, I'm good. She's like, after you and those 2 girls leave early, she goes, I'll be down to like 20, which is more than enough to finish it up. I went, all right, cool, sounds good. So I clocked out. We were supposed to go all the way to 8:30, and I clocked out at 7:30. So not too bad. Not too bad. Eddie says, what up, Fears? What up, Eddie? And then he says, what up, Visions? What up, Yakvo? And Eddie likes to keep everybody in check. Eddie's always saying, hey, you better be good. I don't know why he always does this. This is kind of his thing. But everybody better be good, or Eddie will be kicking ass and taking names. He'd be like, I swear to God, Yakov. He goes, you do anything in the chat, and I'll rip your fucking head off. But Eddie keeps everyone in check, though. So there it is. And then Eddie says, the stream is lit. Well, I think the better question is when is Fears' streams not lit? You know? I try to put on a good show for everybody. And lastly, I've saved the best for last. Let us do the review. I had never seen this except for one scene. So, Visions, Yakov, Pixel, everybody. Pixel, you're not here, but whenever you do see this. Oh, man. Except for one story. All the other stories were fantastic, except for one. The cockroach one sucked donkey balls. I just wasn't into the cockroach ones, if I'm being completely honest. Thank you for the 4 likes. I appreciate that. Just the cockroach one was not my cup of tea. Every other one was good. The Cage, Father's Day, To Tide Me Over, and then the Comet one where Stephen King plays this like country bumpkin hillbilly farmer, and he finds I almost said an asteroid, not an asteroid, a meteorite, and he breaks it open, and then he gets this liquid on him, and it starts growing this like fungus shit on him. That one was great. It was just the cockroach one I was not into. Because I didn't like one scene, if I would have liked that last scene, it would have been a 10 out of 10. But because I didn't like the cockroach one, it's a 9 out of 10. It's a 9 out of 10. But everything's great. They make it look like a comic book. There's a lot of colors in it. There's a lot of cameos in it. Tom Atkins, the guy, out of Halloween 3, he plays in the beginning, at the end, which is great. Ted, what's his name? Ted, what's his name? Ted, what the hell was his name? Hang on. Oh, what the hell was his name? The guy out of, that Macaulay Culkin movie, Getting Even with Dad, he's in it. He's in the, To Tide You Over. And he was on Cheers. That guy. I don't remember. It's Ted something. I can't remember his name. Visions. If you know his last name, let me know, because I'm having a brain fart here. Leslie Nielsen's in it. Stephen King makes a cameo. I mean, not really a cameo. He plays a part. And I've never seen him act. Well, I've seen him in cameos, but this was the first time where he actually had a big part, and he actually did some acting, and it was hilarious. It was hilarious. He played like this country bumpkin, like hillbilly farmer. Finds this not asteroid. He finds a meteorite. And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna make a lot of money, dude." And he's like, just country bumpkin hillbilly to the max. And I'm just like, "Oh, this guy's great." All the special effects were great. If I had to pick a favorite scene, obviously my favorite story is To Tide Me Over. That was the first one I saw, but then when I watched the whole movie, I'm like, it still holds up. To Tide Me Over is creepy as all hell, and it's great. If I had to pick a second one, so that's my favorite scene, the whole To Tide Me Over one. That's the first one. The second story that I love, Father's Day. He's like, "I want my cake. I want my cake." And apparently this guy was obsessed with getting his cake. He would not stop until he got that slice of cake. And by the end of it, I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but he did get his cake. I'd say the most creepiest scene, though, is when the lady was like visiting her father, and she's like Visions. You know what scene I'm talking about. She's like laying by the grave. She's like drinking some Jim Beam. Like she doesn't really like her father, and she's like, "Yeah, the hell with you. You can kiss my ass." And she's like basically just swearing at his tombstone. What happens next? Well, she has a very, 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 very bad day, because her rotting father, the rotting corpse of her father, his hand just goes goom right up through the grass, out of the grave. He starts crawling out of the grave, and there's all this steam and all this fog and shit coming out. He's rotting. The fucking stench is coming off his body. She's like, all that. I mean, he is rotted like a fucking rotten apple core. You know what I'm saying? He's rotten to the core. Maggots are coming out of his eyeballs, everything. His suit is just fucking massacred. You know what I'm saying? He's crawling out. He grabs her, kills her, basically strangles her. He crawls out of the grave, jumps on top of her, and basically just kills her. That was a pretty crazy scene. But it's one of my favorite scenes because the way they made him look. Tom Savini even makes a cameo. He plays a garbage man at the end of the movie. That was another cameo. His special effects are goddamn breathtaking, amazing. And I watched all the bonus features visions, and when it got to the part of designing the rotting corpse of the dad, he goes, we did put live maggots on him. He goes, we got a very thin actor to play the dead corpse. So he said, we took a thin actor, gave him a mask of he goes, he put on this rubber type of skeleton mask. He goes, and he said, real maggots are going to go on the costume. He goes, you won't feel it. He goes, we won't put any live maggots on your actual flesh. He goes, but we're going to put it on the costume. So there was maggots falling off the suit he was wearing. He said, in the rubber mask, we're going to put maggots on your face. And I was like, oh wow, they're going the distance. But that would make sense. If a rotting dead corpse crawled out of a grave, well, obviously, whenever you die, your body decomposes. You know? It takes a long while for your body to decompose, but it decomposes. So that would be true. Maggots would be all over you, unfortunately. So there it is. And if you Visions has seen it, Pixel's seen it. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to ruin it for you guys, but that scene when he crawls out of the grave, it is fucking insane. And the look of him, he's all he kind of looks a little bit like Tarman, Visions, if I'm being honest. Don't you think? Don't you think the rotting father looks a little, I'm not saying he looks exactly like Tarman, but he looks a little like Tarman. He's not slimy. He's just, his flesh has turned this brown. So it went from skin tone to brown. His black suit is turned this grayish black. And it's just, he is just rotting to the core. But Visions, what do you think? Yay or nay? Doesn't he look a little bit like Tarman? If it was the best way to describe the rotting dead father is a non-slimy Tarman, because he's not really slimy. He's just decaying like no other. That's how I would describe him. Let me know what you think, Visions, before I end the stream. Let me know. Well, thanks, Eddie. Eddie says the stream's rocking. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. And thank you for all the likes. We got 4 likes. I appreciate that. So, to end this, definitely check it out. Those are my 2 favorite scenes. It's worth a watch. It's really good. When you get the Blu-ray, you get this nice cover art. Bada bing, bada boom. On the back, bada bing, bada boom. You get a comic book with it. Well, it's like a comic book. It basically tells you how they made the movie. And let me see if I can find what the dad looks like. Let me see if I can find the rotting dad in here. Let's see here. Because then, instead of talking about it, I can show you guys. Oh yeah, here he is. There he is, Visions. There's the rotting dad, right there. So he looks a little like Tarman, but he's not exactly like Tarman, but there it is. Oh, I forgot. He's on the back. He's on the back, too. So he looks a little like Tarman, but not really. Look, and so that's the scene I'm talking about. He is crawling out of the ground. Look at all the fucking steam and fog and shit in the back. He's crawling out. He's rotted to the fucking goddamn core. You know what I'm saying? It's been so long since I watched the first Creepshow that I honestly don't remember. Fair enough. Well, Visions, that means it's time to give it a rewatch. That's right. So they make this. It's basically like a making of book. I haven't read it yet. I'm gonna probably read it tonight before I go to work. Because whenever I get a movie, I try to watch all the bonus features. I went through real quick and looked at all the pictures. I thought, all right, tonight I'll read it. So last night I just looked through this book, looked at all the pictures. I was like, oh, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. I said tomorrow night I'll read it because it's only how many pages is this? 36 pages. Fears could knock that out in like 20 or 30 minutes, you know. So this will be a quick read. So you get this, and then you get this, but then you get a shit. Look at all that. A shit ton of bonus features. I loved it. I cannot wait for some Creep Show Part 2s. Oh, yeah. But this one's my favorite. To tide you over. Man, that shit is so fucking creepy, but it's so well shot. But by far, my second favorite story is Father's Day. He crawls out of the fucking grave, and basically his daughter, he wants revenge. His daughter and him didn't get along. So on Father's Day, she's making his cake, and he's like, I want my cake. He goes, why the hell does it take so long? He goes, you've been in that kitchen for 3 fucking hours. He's like, get out of here. I want my fucking cake. You know, that's probably why he's going so nuts on, I want my cake, I want my cake, all this other bullshit. And she's like, it's coming, it's coming. And so they're fighting just left and right. And he's like, you stupid bitch, come on. Like, and so he's not really the best dad, right? So she's like, all right. She's like, I'm done. I've had enough. She takes this, like, ashtray, right, off the coffee table. And she's like, this motherfucker says one more thing. I'm just going to pretty much take this ashtray and go nunk and hit him in the head and kill him. And that's exactly what she does. And so years later, she regrets like killing her father. So that's why she's always, whenever she goes to visit her dad at the grave, she's always like drinking. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, Dad. She's like, half I'm sorry, but then the other half of it, I'm not sorry because you were such an evil father and I fucking hate you and da 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 da. And I guess after her coming to his grave so many years and bitching and moaning and complaining, the dead rotting corpse father's like, all right, like I've had enough. I'm coming back to life, and I'm killing your ass. You know? So he comes back, kills her, you know, throws her in his grave, and then all of her friends are in his mansion. He's like, get the fuck out of my mansion, and if you don't, I'll just kill you. They don't leave, and he goes, all right, I'll just kill you. And at the end, he like chops off his wife's. His wife is still alive. He chops off his wife's head, puts on a tray, puts all this like cake frosting on the top of her head, sticks candles in it, lights it, goes, I got my cake, finally. And I'm like, oh, this is fucking hilarious. So that's my second favorite. So Father's Day, oh, just, there it is, right there. Father's Day, and to tide me over, 2 of the best scenes out of the whole movie. So Visions, give it a rewatch. But I'll be honest, he kind of looks like Tarman. Just a non-slimy Tarman. Just a non-slimy slimy Tarman. Because Tarman, he's got like blood all over him. He's got like this creamy liquid ooze on him. Like his flesh. Tarman, his flesh is turned into this like black goo. It's not even like pinkish like me. His body has turned this liquid, creamy, like black ooze dripping off of him. This guy, he is black and brown, but he's non-slimy. He's just got fucking like dirt all over him. And he's just crawling out. But when you watch the behind the scenes, you see Tom Savini, the special makeup guy, make up this costume. And he goes, this costume took forever because there's so much detail. He goes, we had to basically like glue bones in the inside of the suit because he wears, like whenever you're dead, they always put you in a nice shirt and tie and either a tux or a nice suit. He goes, so on the inside of the suit, we put bones like hanging out and ripping out of the black suit that he was buried in. He goes, then the actor goes in that. He goes, then we had to cover the actor. He goes, we put the rubber skeleton mask on him, cover that in fucking dirt. Then we had to put dirt all over the fucking black suit. So you just see speckles of the black suit come out. He goes, then we had to put black dirt all over the bones that we glued in on the inside of the suit. So it was a whole thing. And he goes, basically it's like 3 or 4 layers that the actor wears. He goes, then we dug a hole. And he goes, we put this like tissue paper super thin over the grave. So he's in a grave. that they dug, and I'm like, oh, that's even creepier. And he said we laid this like tissue paper sheet across it. He goes, but it was strong enough to put like a layer of dirt on it. And they said, we're going to give you a 3-2-1 over a bullhorn. And he said, as soon as you hear the bullhorn go off and we say go, he said, just bend down and just explode out of the fucking grave as fast as you can and just start crawling out of it. And so the actor goes, I can do that. But I guess he was in that grave for like underneath. So that must have been really claustrophobic. A sheet went over it. Then it's all dark in there, and they said the actor's in there. They laid a sheet, like this thin layer of, I guess, paper, and he said, you can rip through it. He goes, it'll be easy to rip through it. You'll be fine. And they said, we'll give you a 3-2-1. And then they put like grass over it and like dirt. And he said, when I tell you to just 3-2-1, you're going to hear a little buzzer go off or like a bullhorn, like we're going to say go over a bullhorn. Just rip through the fucking grave and be as angry as possible and just fucking crawl out and just grab her and start choking her and like get on top of her and start choking her and act like you kill her. So they even show you all the behind the scenes. Like you hear the guy off camera going, all right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. And then you hear a little buzzer go off and he goes, now, jump out of the grave. And you just see the guy crawl out. So that was kind of cool to see the behind the scenes of that. So those are my 2 favorite scenes though. If you haven't seen Creepshow, I highly suggest it. I tried to do a review without giving too much away. I gave a little away, but this is an old movie, so I'm sure everyone's already seen it. But for the people that haven't seen it, just don't watch this stream. But it's a nice piece to the collection. I'm going to read this tonight. I cannot wait for some Creepshow part dosage. And I know that they brought Creepshow back as a television show. So there's new Creepshows out. So I can't wait to watch those. But let's watch the old ones first before Fears gets to the new ones. Anyway, that'll about do it for today. But I hope everybody enjoyed the stream. Visions, this would be a nice time to rewatch it because Vision said, you know what, Fears, it's been such a long time since I watched the first Creepshow that I honestly don't remember. Whenever that happens to me, I rewatch it. So, buddy, rewatch it. Let me know what you think because I'm telling you. Everything was great about it, except for, like, it's towards the end. That cockroach one, that one wasn't doing it for me. It was so damn boring, the cockroach one. Everything else was spectacular. Stephen King's, like, where he finds the meteorite, and he touches it, and all the green fungus starts growing on his house and growing on him. That was scary. That was cool. Father's Day was amazing to tide me over. Tom Atkinson's cameos at the beginning and end of it, plus Tom Savini's cameo as the fucking hilarious garbage guy. That was cool. Everything was great about it except for that fucking cockroach scene. I'm like, oh, this is so damn boring. But everything else was amazing. That's why I gave it a 9 out of 5. If that cockroach scene wasn't in there, it would for sure be a 10 out of 10. For sure. Anyway, I'm going to start getting some dinner ready, guys, because Fears has to be at work at 3:30, and I'm going to try not to be lazy. Last night I was lazy, and I just slept and watched movies and didn't edit anything. I'm going to try to edit something today and get a video up tonight. But last night I was being super lazy. All right. Well, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the Fears Man at FearsMan26. Fears Vlogs. As soon as you're done with that, go over to TikTok, FearsMan26 on TikTok. Check out my buddy Pixel, Lord of those Pylons, at Pixel Protocol on YouTube. Check out my buddy Randall, Cameo Man 2021, and his second channel, The Mayor of Magic. I believe Randall just uploaded a new video. He put himself in the movie Ed Wood. I haven't watched it yet, so I'll have to check that out. That sounds pretty hilarious. Randall being in a black and white Ed Wood movie. So there it is. And I believe Johnny Depp played Ed Wood in that movie. So I'm looking forward to seeing Randall in an Ed Wood movie. So that's Randall's new video. Check it out. Check out my friend Richie. He puts barbecue sauce on everything because he's the challenge master. Check off Yakovich, Yakfo, Yakto, Yak Off, whatever you want to call him. Check out Yak Off on Spotify. Check out my buddy, the Sega Camp Gamer and Wear Camp on that good old Twitch. He's Twitch casting it up or twitching or whatever the hell you young people say. He's twitching it up. So there it is. And last, but certainly not least, Visions has got some new shit on his website. A new Terminator shirt. And Visions, I actually looked today. I forgot to check out your new sticker. You have a new Terminator sticker. And I was like, ooh, now we're talking. So check out my friend Visions, Lord of the Goths, at www.exhumvisions.com. Buy some cool shit. Why? Because Visions is my buddy and my pal, and he's a cool motherfucker, and he sells great fucking products. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, this is Fears. Gotta love that coffee. And I'm going to skedaddle. I'm going to go take a shower. Or I'm going to eat, answer some emails, and then go soak in a warm tub. All right. Peace. Deuces. Fears loves you. Fears cares about you guys. And I'll see you later. Alligator. All right, bye.